All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Friday, March 1st, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Another monster winner today, actually two of them, but big winner on the NQ. I believe I told you guys yesterday we were long there in the trading room, and huge gain today on the NASDAQ. This has actually exceeded some of my targets. I was expecting about 445 to be the cap for the day. I wouldn't even rule out a close at 445. SPX here looks like the most interest right now is at 5140. So we'll see if we get there, but they gamma squeezed it up. 5100 was the level of interest, obviously, and they forced market makers to take on that risk this morning. I talked about this yesterday as well. Suggested that there might be a little trend leg up coming, and that's exactly what we got. Again, just to show you one more time, picture perfect, right? You don't need to make it too complicated. Little channel breakout, back test, and we're going. So good move there for the bulls. And are we overbought? Are the semis out of control here? Yeah, but they can go higher, believe it or not. So the next target is 5150. We almost got there today. I don't think we're going to get there now, but we could get there. Monday. We could get there next week. We could gap up Monday and then pull back off the trend line again. The range is tightening here. I'm still looking at this trend line. I'm still just going to keep it there because we have been inside of it. But if you look at, for instance, the Qs, well, actually, let's look at the semis again. I just showed you, rising wedge in a bull market can break bull sometimes. So I'm going to get rid of that. That's just leave it there. Look at the socks, right? So we could keep this trend line here. This has not been invalidated. It could still be a line to watch. Now, are we really like top heavy in the semis? I mean, yeah, like it's just long in the tooth. Of course it is. But bottom line is until supports break, trend is up, dips will be bought. So that's kind of what I'm leaving it at. I know there was that Economist article that came out last night. Everybody was talking, it's this contrarian indicator. They didn't really say anything that bullish. They just said, how high can the markets go, with a picture of a bull with balloons. Does that mean that they're calling for SPX 6000? No, that means that it's pretty open-ended. I don't know. I just feel like at this point, I'm almost getting the sense that even if we do dip, it might only be like 5%. Just because I'm getting the sense that, we break down, everybody's going to be calling for SPX 3800. And, nobody's really afraid to short here. I know we're going up, but I'm still seeing people looking for a top, still people calling everything a bubble. And it is, but, the macro realities are not, like, the market's ignoring oil right now. We're breaking out on oil. I know we had ISM earlier. Yields came in. That was the catalyst, right? But the market wanted to go up anyway. It just needed an excuse to do it, right? It just showed you that pattern. We broke out of it. So, I'm not going to make too much out of the macro right now. Will it matter in the end? Of course it will. And it will, we'll have a much deeper decline at some point. But, again, right now in the short term, until support breaks, trend is up, dips are going to get bought. What is support? Well, right now, I would just say 50-50 to 50-40. So previously it was 49-46. That still is a big level. There is a little air pocket here too. So if we were to break down with some force, we could get down there pretty quickly because we just kind of gap through 5K. We've also never backtested 5K for what that's worth. But right now, I would just say 50-40 to 50-50. A break below that would get me interested in the bear case for sure. And again, even if that happens, if we're going to correct to 4600, you don't have to get this first 1 to 2% on the downside. So I wouldn't advise front running this. We do have some things coming up. BTFP coming up. Reverse repo run out coming up. But the market knows about that stuff. So if it ends up not being a big deal, like it could result in even more of a squeeze. So again, just give the bulls a bias here until we go higher. If you're a long trailer stop, I'm just playing it level to level myself mostly. For swings, I'm just picking quality names that are on discounts. We had one winner earlier this week on Hormel. We picked it up right at the lows, took some off last week, and then got at a pretty good gain up here. Now coming in pretty nicely. But yeah, just pick quality names, things that haven't run yet. That's kind of my philosophy. Things that have good patterns that haven't run yet. Definitely don't buy the semis up here. Don't chase them if you're long trailer stop. But outside of that, again, give the market the upside bias. So there's nothing to say they can't take this to 52. That's the next level after 5150, in case anybody was wondering. Triple Qs, I've not really had a chance. I'll just say 450 right now. All around number, and then you can make a case of this trend line. I'm still going to say this is valid because, yeah, we did damage it there, but it's pretty clean and we haven't gotten above it. So I'm going to say that's valid for now. So right now, triple Q's 450. Another reason why I wouldn't get too bearish yet either is Russell 2000 is going to have a new 52-week closing high and a new almost 2-year closing high. So this is April 2022, and we're in March now. And we're going to close above 205.49, it looks like, unless we back off just a little bit here in the last 20 minutes. It's not a big deal. But 205, next level I would look for is 210. We'll go back. There you go. So right there, that was our breakdown. Hammered it. Breakdown, back test. That's resistance. So that is your next level. 210, maybe like 212, a little pierce of that. But again, if semis are overbought, if they do start to fade, which I think they will eventually, I mean, it's getting a little ridiculous. They do need to correct. But as long as you see sectors like IWM, you see the ARCs holding up, you see XBI on breakout here, although it does need to, it's into the 200-week moving average, into this old trend line here, going back to 2022. I haven't covered XBI in a while because it just hasn't been relevant. But now that we're starting to see money flow here, and it is a sector that's catching up that was a laggard for a while. I think it's worth at least a look here every now and then. But again, as long as we see that money rotate to some of the laggard plays, again, Dow Transports weekly, this is still fine. Bullish inside bar. This is a sector that could catch up. So that's stuff I'm looking for to play this until the bears break the market. And when the bears break the market, it's got to be everything at the lows at the same time, not just a couple sectors are down and Nvidia is still up 4%. No. Everything's got to be down. And again, like I've been saying yesterday and the day before and the last couple of weeks, but SMCI and Nvidia are up. That is your risk on indicators. If they're down, that's one signal that risk could be starting to come off. Doesn't mean that it has to right away, but that would be kind of one sign there. This is the new Tesla in my mind. So when they're holding up, give the market the benefit of the doubt. I will say, again, leadership at the top is still thinning out. I don't like what Apple's doing. They're trying to save it right now. I don't think they're gonna. That's a new year-to-date close for Apple, and it's on a weekly too. So not really good to see that we're continuing below. We're going to close below this green bar here, 180.30, unless we have a power surge in the next 20 minutes. Even if it does, it's still not really the best look, right? Google, I've talked about previously, don't like this chart really at all. But then on the other hand, you still have Microsoft and Meta testing 5 today. So those names are still holding up. Amazon still holding up new 52-week highs there. That's got to be getting close to all-time highs too, right? Yeah, it's getting up there. So you got to think at this point, Amazon probably wants to go up to all-time highs too. How much market cap is that going to take the market up if that happens? So just some things to keep in mind here. In any case, flip over to the Dow. That can still go to 395. Nothing's changed there. SMH, I don't have a level for this, but I do for the SOX, and that's 5,000. So not that far away. We'll see if we get there next week. Maybe it has to curl back down at some point to this trend line, but until we get a technical damage, it can go higher. It is very overbought though. IGV holding up. CRM follow through, new all-time high for CRM. Snowflake getting more of a continued bounce, but it is flat on the day. Really was hoping that would get down to 175, just never quite got there, but good bounce for that name. IGV still holding up. Again, this is another name that is close to all-time highs, never quite got there. How much market share does that, if we go to 460, how much market share does that equal out for the triple Qs? Transports today, again, I showed you the weekly. This is fine. I even like the daily. So we had that kind of attempted breakdown. 1, 2, 3 up, little pullback pattern. And this is okay for another advanced short term 16,050. And then you've got the gap fill up there at 16.2. So those would be the short term levels there for the DJT. All right, interest rates here. So obviously backing off today pretty nicely. I don't see a ton of downside though. I mean, maybe the 2-year can go to 4.4, 4.5. 5-year had a nice tight pattern that is rolling over. We'll look at 4.05, maybe a pierce of 4. 10s. This is going to be below. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be below 4.2. So that is an important kind of point of control. We'll see if it comes down here and fills this gap, maybe around 4%. The 30-year, I have a much more defined level, and it's simple. That's that trend line right there. So that's where I think it's going, and I think we're going to put in higher lows. I don't expect yields to do a whole lot more of backing and filling here. But they're down right now, and again, like I said, it's giving the market an excuse to do what it wanted to do in the first place, which is have a trend leg up. XHB continuing to make new all-time highs. I don't have any sort of level for this right now. I'll try and work on one over the weekend. I've just kind of given up on coming up with levels for this because it's in melt-up mode. Back below 100, maybe it could come back down a little bit, but right now it's really pushing higher. It's overbought, it's extended, whatever you want to say. Look at the monthly, but it's still trending higher. VNQ, this one is still acting well. I like the price action the last 3 days too. Up move, even the last week, right? Up move. Bullish consolidation, gap down, and then a green day, pause, test candle, and then a go. So VNQ's acting well. Everybody's talking about commercial real estate. I think the market's priced a lot of that in, at least for these REITs. I just, that's just kind of what I'm seeing. If this was in worse shape, I think that, if the market hadn't priced in commercial real estate, I think this would not be going higher, is what I'm trying to say. And this pattern has firmed up a lot on the weekly. And I like that test candle. Again, this could be a laggard sector here. So I know like it sounds counterintuitive, but I mean, commercial real estate's the most telegraphed thing, probably even more so than reverse repo or BTFP running out. XLF here flat, nothing wrong with this. This can still go higher. But no follow through. There we go. No follow through this week. 41 and then 40. The double top there are the next levels. It is overbought very much on the weekly. Obviously, NYCB here under a lot more pressure. That's bringing KRE in. This is a chart I do not like still. Again, you could make a case. After the failed bullish inside bar, we now have a weekly bear flag. This would be one thing that would concern me for the market with BTFP running out. But again, it's freaking telegraphed, right? Everybody knows about it. It's not like this is sneaking up on the market. The Fed's not all of a sudden going to say, oh, wait, that BTFP is running out. Now all the banks are going to fail. At least that's kind of what I would think. I mean, they're not that stupid. So anyway, KBE in much better shape. Again, that weekly pattern is still intact. And we'll see if that does play out. That one is okay. XBD new all-time highs. That is still okay. Oil here is on breakout. It is pulling back off the highs. I mean, they're desperately trying to keep this thing down. I mean, look at this. They're desperately trying. I don't know if that's Biden right there on the ask, but we'll see. But it is breaking out of this inverse head and shoulder. New closing high going back to November. And I'm giving it the upside bias to 81.50, and then we'll see if they manipulate it lower. If it doesn't, then we'll give it the upside bias to 85. And then, believe it or not, I know I keep doing this, but this is where it can go. It might take geopolitical stuff to make this happen. It will, because the administration's not going to want this to happen. But that's your measured move. I don't make up the rules, okay? I'm just following them. So don't come at me in the comments, Aaron, they're never going to let that happen. Well, this is what the chart's saying. You don't know that. Somebody could get invaded, and it could cause a spike in oil. So don't think that can't happen, even if probabilities maybe say otherwise. XLE, hammering on 87. It's going to be 87.11. We're right above that right now. So we'll see if that holds by the end of the day. We're just hovering right above that. We got 15 minutes left. So that's your level. If it closes below it, it's not the end of the world. We could just take it out next week. But yeah, XLE hanging in there okay. XOP hanging in there okay. That's above that 141 area. And then we have the OIH here continuing to be on breakout up 2.6%. Nice tight pattern. And then a good up move there for the OIH. CCJ here backing up into that 42 handle again. And there it is. Essentially, is it as important now that we're, you know, if we close above it or below it on the weekly? Not really, because we've already closed below it. So right now I'm just looking for maybe a retrace to 45. I wouldn't really do anything with it at the moment right now, though. And then URNM looks like it's going to get saved on the weekly. So this continues to be an outperformer here to CCJ. So this is still holding up. Nat gas here today, just backing off a little bit. Nothing's changed about that pattern. We'll see if they try to gap it down on Sunday night. They tend to do that. But at face value, this should be able to get to 2 to 210 in the short term. Dollar index is getting hit, but it's not down as much as you'd think. So down 0.25%. Pattern-wise is kind of neutral here on the daily. The weekly can still firm up, though. We've had a nice run off the lows. If this just stays firm, it can push up into 106. I just don't want to see it below 103.50. And then star of the day here, well, outside of the NASDAQ, is gold. So we talked about 2075. We're through that. You know, decent consolidation pattern here, and is pushing up to 21. So that's your next little level to get through. Is it on breakout? I mean, well, you're not above the high, but it kind of locally is, at least. I just don't know what to make out of it here. It's definitely telling us something. It's definitely sniffing something out. Is that a loosening of monetary policy? I don't know. Financial conditions are already as loose as they've been since 2021, and oil is breaking out. So that's a little bit of contradictory. Well, yields must be crashing then. The TYX is down, but it's not like having a huge like puke, right? So, and then you have the other factor here, GDX. Yeah, of course it's up, but this has done nothing. You know, made lower highs since gold's been holding up. So I don't know what to make out of it, but it's acting well right now. I'm not bearish on it, but we'll see. You know, it's pulled the rug 1,000 times. We'll see if they do it one more time. But 21 is your local level. Silver acting well. 23.65 is your next area. 24 and then 24.50. If it rolls back over and breaks that, well, if it rolls back over, I think it's going to break that, and then it's down to 21 there. Platinum and palladium not doing a ton today. A little dip on platinum. It did close green, and so did palladium there. Copper trying to put in a higher low. I don't love the pattern one way or the other. If we get back above this trend line, we'll say 395. If it dips back down, it's down to 375. Bitcoin still acting well. Again, a lot of people calling the top the other day. Looks fine to me. Looks like it can do exactly what it did 2 weeks ago and just go sideways and push higher. I expect this to make new all-time highs in the not too distant future. That doesn't mean we can't have a local top in place. But again, you're seeing leadership here. Ether going up and tagging that big level. Look at Doge here. So altcoins continuing up. I've been having issues with TradingView lately here. There we go. So getting close to 15 cents. Look at Polkadot. There we go. So I don't know why TradingView has been like this lately, but again, Solana, Cardano, Matic, these are all seeing rotation right now, even as Bitcoin stalls out. And again, I think that's bullish for the sector. Again, I don't see any problems here for Bitcoin or any of the alts. Anyway, spiders here, again, inching up. Towards the end of the day, we'll probably close right around 51.40. Again, give the markets the upside bias till support breaks. Are things getting overbought? Are they ridiculous? Are macro realities in place? Yes, but market's telling you it doesn't care right now. And until you get a big break, until you get volume to come back in, this market can go higher. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, guys, going to wrap up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll talk to you guys all next week.